This is the Real Love Talk podcast, where we show you how God's love and self-love can help you get to your desired destination. If a God-designed marriage is your goal, then you're in the right place. Here's your host, Shenique Luke.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Real Love Talk podcast. I'm your host, Shenique Luke, and welcome to another amazing episode. So today we have a treat for you. I have Miss Adrianna today, and she's going to tell us about her journey into marriage. Now, her and I met a very long time ago. It's been a while.
That's a long, I was in college.
Yeah.
So that was,
Well,
I was
08,
still-
09, right?
yeah.
So I was graduating. Okay. So it's been a while, but nonetheless, she is new to the Wifey Club, and I am so excited. Okay. First of all, it's always exciting for me and special for me to have the guests that I know on, because I knew them before they were married, or like well into, marriage if they've been married a while. But the women who I knew before, we were in the single struggle together. So it's always cool when they're on the other side to hear the details of the story, because we all know that we kind of miss things when you don't talk or we just interact over social media. So I'm excited to hear the full story today. And watching it it's so special. I'm so excited for her. And I believe that she deserved every part of it. So here we're gonna dive on in today.
We're ready.
So I'll let you introduce yourself before we get started.
Hey guys, so my name is Adrianna Casella, formerly Blackburn. I'm 32 years old. I'm a Georgia native, so I love everything ATL and beyond. And I'm like, what do I want to say about myself? I'm a background singer by trade. I'm a licensed minister. I sing with some really cool people, Lawrence Flowers and Intercession, Crowder. I've done some stuff with Passion Band, done some stuff at the Stellars. I've done a lot of stuff, but probably this is so funny because I just preached a message yesterday talking about who am I and how do you introduce yourself. I'm going to say this to you, and it might sound churchy, but I am the breath of God wrapped in flesh. And that is how I'm trying my best to identify myself and introduce myself even to myself, if that makes sense. So, but the rest of it is pretty cool too. Shout out to my mama and everybody from Marietta. Love y'all.
No, that's good, because that's important. And we can get into that a little bit more, because now you're carrying the title of wife.
Ooh.
So we can get into that a little further, a little down the road. But so you're new to the game, the marriage game. So tell us how long you've been married.
I have been married for 8 months. It'll be 9 months on the 6th of August. And honestly, no cap, I love being married. I like that guy. He's good.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, how's it going for you?
It's going great. I think better than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like we have an idea of what our marriage is going to be like, and what is it going to be like to live with this person and see this person every day. And I feel like my expectations were exceeded. Truly.
Beautiful.
I married the right person for me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Tell me how you guys met.
We met at a game night, y'all. So get out your house, single people. Praise the Lord. Accept an invitation to a game night or a hang or a party or something, or a church event, something. Go somewhere. But we met at a game night at a mutual friend's house in the summer of June. Literally, why do I know the date? June 9th, 2021.
Okay.
Yep.
So when you met him, no, I'm going to say that for later. What do you love most about him?
Y'all, my husband loved God. That seems so cheesy, but like like in a real way. Like, I love his love for God, his love for prayer, his love for studying the word. And I would probably, y'all keep this a secret, okay? I love that he's always challenging things according to the word. Now, in the moment, I'm irritated. He'd be like, where is that in the Bible? And that irritates me sometimes, but it also challenges me to make sure that, like, I'm actually living things according to the heart of Jesus and not just doing things because it's traditional or because I've always done it. But other than that, like, I love his heart for people. He's so giving.
Yeah.
Like, he would give his last to somebody. And I love that about him.
I like that. Okay. So the game night, you saw him.
Woo!
What? Okay. Did you know he was the one?
Okay. I saw him. He walks through the door. I was already there. We were playing a game. It was a guys versus girl, like, type setup game. Kind of like a Pictionary type game. And he walks through the door. And my literal first thought, I'm going to tell
Did he
y'all.
start going in slow motion?
It felt like a movie. I'm very dramatic and creative, so everything is cinematic to me. But it felt like a movie. It did. He walks through the door, and I look at him, and I go, and then my thought was, that is a beautiful human.
Aw.
And I still feel like that. Like, when my husband walks in a room, I'd be like, my man, he is beautiful.
That
Y'all,
one right there?
he is beautiful. Y'all, my husband looked like Jesus. Like, actually, he looks like Jesus a little bit. Probably like because someone has stopped us and like thought my husband was Jesus.
That's hilarious.
He's part Lebanese, y'all. So that's why. Like, literally, like the beard, the hair, like wool thing.
That is hilarious.
But that was my literal thought. Oh, he thinks it's hilarious.
Oh.
He loves it. He's like, yes, I'm like the Lord. But like, that was literally my thought. I was like, that is a beautiful human. And then I was like, girl, stop tripping. Like, focus. Because I was in this place of like, I'm happy being single. I'm not trying to get involved with anybody. It was a weird paradox because I was both tired of being single but still happy with where I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of don't want to mess up my happiness flow.
But I think that's when it happens, when you're completely content.
Totally when it happens. I heard people say that before and I was like,
you didn't want to hear it, right?
Listen,
I want to be married. I don't want to be content. No, I know. And then it's like that moment where you're just like, you know what? I'm okay. I'm good. And that's it.
And that's where I was.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm good. I was about to turn 31 in a couple of months. And I was like, I'm really good. I think I should be happy. And even though this person is beautiful, like, where did he come from? I'm like, no, let me leave it alone. So I did not talk to him the night. Well, except for when the game got really heated. And let me tell y'all something. The girls were killing.
Did the girls win?
We were killing until my husband came. He came.
Now you was trying to be cute.
No, I was getting, okay, so I have a little bit of a competitive spirit. It's very little, okay, like very little. And it starts rising up in me because they were losing. And then he came and started strategizing, started telling the guys what to do, started helping them, started answering, getting answers, and they beat us. And I specifically remember when they started, like when they passed us in points, I said, who even are you? That was like probably the first words my husband ever heard me say to him. I was like, who even are you? I was like, y'all, who is this guy? Because he has come and now we're losing. Up. And that, but deep down I was like, oh, but he's fine. He's so fine. He can stay, keep playing.
I don't really want you to go. Please stay. Okay. So how did you guys get to the first date?
Woo. Okay. So we meet right that night. June 9th, 2021. And we leave, and I, don't hear anything. Now, on his side of the story, that night, he says to the couple whose game night it was, he goes, "Who is that girl? I gotta know who that girl is." He was like, "I'm going to California for a month and a half," which he did. And he was like, "But if she's still single when I come back, I gotta see about that." So what he winds up doing is getting himself invited to a photo shoot that I set for myself. Crazy story. There was a couple that this other couple knew who owns a barn, and we used to have worship nights in their barn. And they said that I could use their barn for free for my photo shoot. And it's beautiful. Like, they have beautiful property, very scenic, gorgeous. And say that they were like, all you have to do is just clean it up. Like, if you can come clean it up, it's been shut down, for the fall, but we're going to open it back up for summer. But if you clean it up, we'll let you use it for free. So myself, the husband of the couple of the game night we went to, he was like, "I'll help you, and I'll get some friends." Listen, y'all, friends with an S.
It was just one friend.
It was one friend. The friend was my husband. Okay, so we get there, and it's just me and our friend, and he was like, "Yeah, somebody's coming. Somebody's coming." I said, "Okay, cool. Well, when they get here, they can just jump in." About 10 minutes later, the door to the barn opens. And I am literally sweeping.
This is like a straight romantic comedy.
It's a romantic comedy. God, you heard my prayers.
Opening the
opening the barns and coming through the door. It's all of that. So he opens up the door, and I literally go, "That's that guy on the game night. Oh my God." So he's helping us clean up.
Are you like sweating?
Totally sweating, not from the cleaning, sweating because I was nervous. And y'all know, like, we want to look a certain way when we're in front of somebody, that we think is attractive. But I was looking like I came to clean. Praise God. I had a baseball cap on, had my leggings on, had my workout shirt on, and some sneakers. That is not how I imagined having my first conversation with my future husband. But we were cleaning. We were talking about churches he was visiting. We were talking about what he did for a living, all these things. And so we get the barn cleaned up. We have such great conversation. And I leave thinking, dang, he's really cool. Like, he's really cool. So my photo shoot is the next day. And our other friend who was helping us clean up, he goes, "I got to tell you something." Because he was helping to manage the photo shoot. He says, "Iman thinks you're really pretty." I was like, "Oh my God, I think he's really pretty too."
Not pretty.
Pretty. I was like, "That's what you say?" Thank God he wasn't there to hear me say. I mean, he knows that now that I said that, and he chuckled so hard. But yes, and so what happens is, that was about a week before my birthday. So for my birthday dinner, the couple whose house that we were having the game night at, the wife couldn't come to my dinner. So the husband says, "How do you feel about me bringing Iman instead?" Inside, I was like, "Oh my God, he's going to come to my birthday dinner. This is my chance, because I'm about to be fine at my birthday dinner." Okay, skin about to be glowing, hair about to be flowing, outfit about to be on point. Okay, so he gets an invite to my dinner, and I did this crazy thing for my 31st birthday, because I turned 30 during the pandemic. So y'all know how that was. I was in the house, praise God, on my 30th birthday. So for 31, I did all the things I wanted to do for my 30th. So I had a dinner party at a restaurant, the Southern Gentleman, highly recommend. And I had paid for everything in advance, but none of my friends knew. So they're going to pay at the end. And
that's nice.
And the waiter was like, "Oh, everything's already been taken care of." So, everybody's flipping out. They're like, "What? Oh my God." He was there for that. And he's like, wow. He tells me later, like, "This girl has got it together. Like, she's different." So what he winds up doing is he gets my Venmo. He sends me a message. He sends me $50 with a message that says, technically you treated me to dinner for
Oh,
your birthday. I'd love to return the favor. And that's how he asked me out. And we went on our
talk
first date
about
2 weeks later.
intentional.
Woo, child. I had never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
Like even all the behind the scenes work. I had never, like him talking with our, our guy friend and really trying to like he was trying to get in my vicinity. He was trying to come where I was to like get in front of me. And I never had that before.
But doesn't it feel like it's so much sweeter that you were trying to be in his space too?
Man, I was so like when I never thought of it like that.
Oh,
But
like when you're in high school and like you're like, yes,
they like me back.
yeah.
I did feel like that. I was like, wow, like we're both like putting in this effort, like putting in this pursuit of like to get in each other's space, to, communicate with each other, to learn each other, to figure each other out. Like I just had never had that experience prior to that. Never. No one has been like my husband.
Okay. So I may be skipping ahead a little bit here, but I've been curious about this for months.
Uh-oh, what is it?
The proposal. I was like, no, I was so excited to see. It was like, honestly, truly, in my heart, like the first thing I thought was she deserved something that, like, grandiose. Like, it was
grand.
so big.
Yeah.
And I truly, because I remember our conversations, you know what I mean? So tell me about the proposal.
So the proposal was spectacular. Y'all, I was on tour the summer of 2022, and it was the last show of our tour in Beaumont, Texas, of all places. Okay, y'all, it is the middle of nowhere, but in Beaumont, Texas. And, the day is going as normal. We were out with We the Kingdom, Ann Wilson, Patrick Mayberry, and I Sing for Crowder. So we're out, and that day, the girls from We the Kingdom were like, oh, y'all, it's our last day together. Let's do something. Let's go get our nails done. Would y'all be down? And I was like, yes, like I'm so down. I was like, y'all know I've been talking about my nails all week. All week. It was time for me to get my nails done. So I didn't know that they knew. I didn't know that they knew what was going to take place that night. So we get our nails done. We go to Starbucks, all the things. There's a storm in Texas. Okay. So here's what you guys have to understand about concerts or anything a tour, anything that's happening outside, is that if there's a storm or if there's lightning, they have to pause the show because they have to wait for at least 8 minutes for there to be no lightning. So that is what we're dealing with this night. Now, we had not had any of those issues the whole tour, all summer, but that's happening that night. So I'm texting him. I'm like, babe, pray. This is our last show of the tour. Like, pray that everything is all right. He's like, I got you. I'm praying. So I get on stage and they work it out. It stops storming. Praise God. It stops storming. We're on stage. We're in the middle of our set. Now, when we do this downstage moment in our set, Crowder always talks. He always talks. We never, honestly, y'all, we don't know what that man gonna say. Okay, we don't know. But he typically has like a couple of things that he says. So he says, tonight really is all about family. And I'm like, oh, wow, like that's so sweet. Like Crowder, yes, like that was from a beautiful place. And then he turns and he says, Adrianna, do you see any special people here tonight? And I'm thinking, so you got to imagine, y'all, I'm on stage doing a show that I've done 1,000 times. And this man calls my name and I'm like, wait a minute, why is he calling my name? I'm like, what's going on? Like, he's not introducing us. Why is he calling my name? So I hear him say that and I'm thinking like, yeah, all of us are special on stage. And he was like, you see any special people on stage? And then my now husband walks out from the side of the stage Y'all, we are, now mind you, we live in Georgia and our show was in Texas. So I'm looking at him like, what are you doing in Texas? I think I was thinking, not even what are you doing on stage? What are you doing in Texas right now? And he has a mic and I'm standing there and I'm like, wait, what's about to happen? I'm like, is this about to happen? Because, okay, guys, my husband is such like an intimate, private person. I would have never imagined that is what he would think to do. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, we're probably going to be at a restaurant and it'll be, you know, very intimate or just something like that. I don't know how I thought that because y'all, our boundaries were so airtight. We were never in either one of our apartments alone until we got married. So I don't know how I thought it was going to be like us alone in an apartment or child. I was just, I don't know. I did not think that we would be on stage, much less on stage in a state that we do not live in while I'm on tour. So he says this is a beautiful, I mean, everyone who was there is like, he basically preached a sermon and he talked about Adam and Eve and he talked about God choosing.
Husband?
Yeah. And he talked about God choosing to love us through every season of our lives, like through our imperfections, like that love remains a choice. I was just like, my husband. And so then he goes, so in front of your all these people and your family. Now, when he said that, it's a very common thing to say that like people that you're on tour with are your family. No, y'all. He meant my actual family.
From Georgia?
So then the lights go up on the side of the stage and it is my mom, my dad, my bonus mom, my sister, my best friend, my kind of like surrogate brother, whose name is also Emmanuel Strange, his wife, their kids, his dad, his brother, and then my two closest friends. Oh, and Emmanuel's wife. I think I said that. All came from Georgia. Now, his dad and his brother came from New York. And they all were there.
That's crazy.
For days in Texas, for like 2 or 3 days waiting. So it was crazy because they were all like texting when we went to get our nails done and we went to Starbucks. Gosh. We were apparently like 2 blocks away from my dad and my husband having breakfast. They were having breakfast somewhere nearby. Like, but that is how I was proposed to. I was shocked. I never felt more loved.
Wow.
All of the planning, because when you do something like that, I found out later they even had to get approval from the city.
Wow.
Because it was going to extend the show.
Oh, okay.
So they had to get approval from the city to extend the show. He got approval from Crowder's label, so Shelley and Louis Giglio from Six Steps, the record label, his road manager, Joe Angel Sanchez, his wife who takes care of all of the business for Crowder Inc. So her name's Tony Crowder. They all were a part of the approval process. Sweet. And he did this and him and my best friend getting together, designing my ring. My ring is custom. He never saw what I wanted because he wouldn't let me show him. He said, I know you. I don't need you to show me what you want. He nailed it. Oh my God, he totally nailed it. But that was the experience. And I was mind blown. I probably didn't even cry till like a week later because I just was like.
So in shock.
I was in shock. I could not believe that something that beautiful, that intentional, and that grand was for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So perfect segue. Before you met him.
Woo!
Before the space when you were about to turn 30 and you said, okay, I'm good, God. What was dating like for you?
Horrible. No. How much time you got? No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I did not do a lot of dating.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a relationship in 2015 that ended. That really, really like broke my heart when that
Mm-hmm.
ended. Especially because it was like, like some relationships end and it's like it makes sense why it ended.
Yeah.
Like somebody cheated or somebody was unequally yoked or, somebody was just a horrible person. It was not that. It just wasn't the right person and
Mm-hmm.
it ended. And that broke my heart. And I was never in a committed relationship again until
Mm.
my husband in 2021.
Tell me why.
I say not a committed relationship. There's one person that I would probably have to count as like pretty steady, but we just never committed to being in a relationship with each other. And we were kind of in and out of each other's lives for like 3 years. So that was a major part. I was holding space for someone who would not commit to me. And even though I had other opportunities to date people, there was this thing in my heart like, no, he's going to come around. No, he's going to finally see how great I am or, whatever. Like he's going to want to be with me. And that didn't happen. And I remember actually in 2020, he came here to Atlanta because he doesn't live here. He came here to Atlanta to like celebrate my 30th birthday, took me out. Like we had such a great time. He was here for a couple days. And at the end of the trip, I was like, okay, I just gotta be bold. Like I just turned 30. I do not have time to be playing around. So I just asked him like straight up. I was like, what do you see like for this? Like, is this ever going to become something substantial? And he told me, he was like, I just don't see you that way. Oh my God. So I took him to the airport. This is on the way to the airport. We're having this conversation. I drop him off. I will remember this forever. At the Atlanta airport where if you ever visit Atlanta, you'll know what I'm talking about. When you get to the point where you can either go like towards Camp Creek or just like go towards the interstates. So I go towards the interstate. And when I finally get on the interstate, it was like a flood. It was like a flood of tears, like 3 years worth of tears that I had not cried because I was just holding this space, just came flowing out of me. One of my closest friends, she was in my wedding. She lived about 15 minutes from the airport. I called her and I was like, are you home? And she was like, yes. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional now. She was like, yes, come. And I got to her house and I could not even drive home because it was like the pain and the sorrow was like debilitating.
Yeah.
And so I cried. It was like I let it all out. And probably like 2 weeks later, I was good though. And I said, you know what, God? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done trying to hold space for people. I can only work with what's in front of me. And what's in front of me is you. So I'm going to stay here with you. I'm going to stick beside him. Him is God. I'm going to stick beside you. And I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
I'm just going to wait because I think I tried to like orchestrate things in the past or, something would be good. And so you want it to be more. But like y'all, sometimes you meet a nice person and that's all it was supposed to be.
You know what's interesting? Because I went through a similar situation, like that gut-wrenching heartbreak. And I remember, okay, on 285.
The highway.
Because it happened at my job. The everything happened, found out some information, and I went home because I was in tears. And I told my manager, I was like, I promise I'm not a drama queen. I can't do this today. And I went going down 285. And I remember my pastor was preaching about praising God in the storm.
Oof.
And it was like, same thing, 3-4 years, probably 4 or 5 years. And kind of just waiting for him to see me.
Mm-hmm.
And this was when he was like, yeah, I'm moving on. And when I was driving, and it was like spiritually, I knew he was not for me, but in the natural, it was so painful. I feel like that's what like the tears were coming from, like what you said. And it's like, thank you, Jesus. It's hilarious now. Thank you, Jesus. Because I was like, okay, my mind, like literally, I have to push through whatever this is. And I promise that was probably the best thing. But what you said, why I stopped you, I remember thinking, I like the situation sucked. But I can't say anything bad about him because he was a really good guy, right? But he just was not good for me.
Right. Sometimes that's difficult.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I feel like sometimes that's harder.
No, yeah.
Like, if a
Like if he
person
was a
is not,
sucky person.
it's like, you are not even a nice person.
Yeah.
I don't want to be with you.
Absolutely.
But when it's like, it's a decent person, they have good things going for them.
Right.
Like, and they're not necessarily treating you bad in the sense of like, they're not being abusive or anything
But
like
that's
that.
also the trick of situationships. But we'll talk about that on another episode.
Ooh.
That's how it sneaks in because they're not dogging you out. And then 4-5 years later, you look up and you still not committed.
That's exactly what that was. That was a situationship.
Yep.
There was no commitment. There was no sacrifice. It's just convenience.
Yep, absolutely.
And I remember, like, my brother, my other Emmanuel, I remember him saying this to me. He's like, Audrey, you have to recognize that people realize you are a great person. And even though they don't want to commit to you, that does not mean they do not want to benefit from you.
Yep,
They want to benefit from all of these qualities that you have that make you so great, but they're either not ready or not willing to be committed. And he's like, you have to learn how to discern that. Like, some people are literally just trying to partake of your kindness, your generosity, your affection, but they don't actually want to be committed to you. They do not want to reciprocate that sacrifice.
And that's one of the things I always talk about when women decide to cut a man off. Like, what should I do? Don't let him take advantage. Like, he should no longer have any benefit from who you are. And
no more access.
Yeah, no access.
No more access.
I don't care if it's just, I like spending time with you because you make me feel good. No, you don't. You don't get that. So I get it. Look, I'd have deemed myself the situationship queen because I used to sit in a situationship just chilling.
Like, thinking something is going to be different magically. No.
Yeah.
Most men are actually showing you who you are, who they are, like, the first week you know them.
Yikes.
I mean, they're showing you who they are, but we women,
Oh, he's so good.
No,
He's
why
so
do we like
great.
projects?
I don't know. I think it's just a part of being a natural nurturer.
Yeah,
It's the motherly thing that was designed in us, but it can be very harmful.
It can be detrimental.
Absolutely.
Yes, it can.
Okay, so you said, I never thought that so much detail and intention and something so grand could be done for someone like me.
Man,
tell me more about that statement.
I think because I have been treated so commonly. I don't think, like, I feel like this conversation has gone around in culture a little bit where women don't know what it's like to be asked out on a date. Like, they don't know what it is to have somebody plan something, have an itinerary, have a vision, have a direction, and then execute that. I did not have that experience. Not consistently, and definitely not to the level
Yeah.
that my husband did it. And he will tell you himself, he said, baby, I'm not, I was thinking, I was like, wow, like he's such a planner. He was like, and I'm not. He said, I planned for you because I realized that that's what it requires to be with you. He was like, I'm not a planner by nature, which is so true. My husband is the most spontaneous person you will ever meet. If I said, hey, babe, let's move to Paris tomorrow, he'd be like, packing my stuff, let's go. He's that person. But being so intentional concerning our dating, that was like, you know, in his words, he would be like, God told me, like, this is different. Like, she is my best. Like, you have to be,
Oh, this is so good.
you know? And I think because other people, like I said, they just treated me, I hate to say it this way, but it was like they used me for how kind I was, how supportive I was. Like, I don't know all my good qualities, but I'll tell you one thing. Adrianna Denise Casella is loyal. And I know how to show up for people. I get that from my mom. And so that's what I was always giving. And it's nice. It's nice to have somebody there. It's nice to have somebody rooting you on. It's nice to have somebody to just be present. And I was that person in so many of the situationships and in other relationships. But I can't ever say that someone treated me like they valued me and like I was beautiful, like I was special, like I was more than just another girl.
Ooh, do you think that, how do I want to say this? Did you think that it was because of how you saw yourself, or did you just, you never, or you just kind of accepted it?
You know, looking back, it's very interesting. The way we see ourselves, I think, does impact what we accept. Because I do think that I accepted that behavior because of how I saw myself. But I actually think, and my brother, I'm telling you, those Emmanuels in my life, my other Emmanuel, he would tell me all the time. He'd be like, sister, guys are intimidated by you because they see you as that wife,
They have
that
to show
queen.
up, yeah.
Like they have to, like if they were to commit to you, they could not do this half behind stuff that they're doing, that they would have to come up. They would have to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, and a lot of
But
men aren't ready to do that.
when they recognize that you will accept this low level, they will take advantage of it because there's something in them that realizes like, oh, she don't even know who she is.
I had a guy friend that said, we do things because y'all let us. So, so we keep doing it as long as, like he said, low key, we're waiting for someone to tell us no.
Ooh. Mighty God. I believe that. I really think that that's accurate. Like now that I'm older and I can look back and even conversations I've had with my guy friends, my brothers, I think that's true.
Yeah. And it was a game changer for me. Because I was like, okay, I need to do something different because here I am thinking, I just want to, I don't want to rock the boat. I just want to be I really don't like confrontation. And I just, I just don't want to be that girl. But I feel like, that girl gets what she wants.
Ooh, I was just about to say that. That girl,
Yeah.
that girl gets what she wants and more. And then when she gets it, she elevates her perspective of herself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I feel like that was me. I did not want to rock the boat. If somebody was willing to kick it with me, I'm like, yes, yes. I'm not alone. Like, so let me just do what it takes to not be alone.
Yeah. Okay, so you talked about the space that you were in. Game night, you're content. What was your relationship with Christ like during that time? And what got you to a place where you just had so much peace and contentment?
My relationship with Christ, I am so happy to say, was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Like, I'm talking, like, I feel like God is talking to me in the everyday things. You know, I think like when he asked me out, and I didn't respond right away because I was like soaking up that message, like, wow. I was sitting and I was looking at it, and it felt like the Holy Spirit was like, say yes. Might be surprised. And I was like, but do I really want to start something? Do I really? Because I could feel already that it was different. And I was like, this is different. He is different. And it was like that little tap. I think you should say yes to this. So I did. I was like, I'm just going to say yes. When we talked on the phone to plan like the day and the time, it was like fire going through my body. Like literally, I had never felt that. Like this is just over the phone. It felt like heat just rushed from my toes all the way up throughout my entire body. And I mean, when we hung up, I called my best friend. I was like, girl, we just solidified the date and the time of our date. And I'm freaking out. And it feels like I just stepped into a sauna. It's like my body is radiating with heat. And she was like, well, calm down. She was like, I'm excited, but calm down. Take it one day at a time. I was like, okay. And then on our first date, at the end of the night, he kissed me. Now, when he kissed me, I was perplexed. I really was, because I was expecting a certain feeling. And when I got home that night, I laid in the bed and I said to God, I was like, God, when he kissed me, I felt something different. I was like, I'm trying to describe it to you, God. And I was like, it was just pure. And then it hit me. I had never experienced the purity I had worked so hard for in myself inside of someone else. Never felt that before. But it was like, I know this. I was like, I know this feeling. I'm like, what is the feeling?
Familiar.
Pure. I was like, that's what it was. And from then on, I was like, I think this is going to be good. I was like, all right, God.
Oh, this is so good. I don't want it to end. Okay. So this space is for women who may be hanging out where you were a little longer than they should. And if she's listening, and she's giving up, or she's feeling like it's never going to happen, before I finish stating the question, and I know we need to wrap up, but when you said, I'm not a planner, I'm planning for you, I felt like that is exactly what God says to all of us.
Girl. Like, all right, we're going to have church.
I know.
Cue me up. Where's the organ?
And so, before I allow her to answer, I want to say that God has a plan for you. God is planning something for you. Because when you said it, and as I'm going through something in my life right now, I felt like God was speaking through you to me, about his plans for me. Because it, like the way it came through my headphones, it was so much louder than anything else that she has said. So if she's listening and she may be doubting the plans that he has for her, what type of advice would you give her that may be on the other side of her tears or her prayers, that someone is planning something grand for her as well?
I I have to say what we just said off camera, which is that God has been God for a very long time. There is nothing in your life that is a surprise to him. There is nothing in your life that you are sitting in right now that God does not have a watchful eye over. I know that waiting is painful. I know that. Listen, 7 years and 7 months of being celibate, 7 years not in a committed relationship, 7 years of watching, people that I went to high school with, people that I went to college with, getting married and all these different things, having babies. And I would cry out to God. And God would always tell me, keep waiting, baby. You have no idea what's on the other side for you. And I love this analogy so much. God gave it to me in my life for another reason. But he said to me, because honestly, on the other side of waiting is a lot. It can be a lot. And I was like, God, it feels like everything is happening so fast, because for me, it happened fast. And I hope that happens for some of you, that it happens way faster, like not fast as in tomorrow, but like the process. Y'all got to understand. I met my husband in 2021. We started in June of 2021. We started dating in August of 2021. We got engaged in June of 2022 and married in November of 2022. Okay, for all intents and purposes, that was 10 months of dating, 4 months of being engaged. It was like, whoa. But, oh God, he said to me, a flower does not get to determine when it blooms. But when it does, it is one of the most beautiful, breathtaking things you've ever seen. And sometimes we want to be like those little weeds that grow up overnight, because it looks like, ooh, they grew a lot very fast. But sometimes you don't want to be a weed. You want to be a tree. When you grow, when you get there, you want to be sturdy. You want to be y'all realize that trees last for generations, not just moments, not just seasons, not even just decades. That is what you want in your life for your marriage. You do not want a marriage that lasts for a moment because you were rushing, trying to make something happen just so that you wouldn't have to be alone. What you want is a partnership that outlasts you. What you want is love that's generational. What you want is something that God breathed on, ordained, and has purposed. That's really what you want. I know sometimes you're like, no, I just want to be with somebody. Watch what you say. You don't want to just be with somebody. You want to build with the right somebody. That's what you really want. I love you. Don't give up. It's going to happen so fast. Your head going to spin. Literally happened to me. Oh my God. One day I was minding my business and the next day I'm married. Can't believe it. That's literally how it felt. So I just pray that when that season comes, that you're ready, that when the floodgates open, you have what you need to be able to carry it, and that you don't doubt yourself in the waiting. You are beautiful. There is somebody out there who who wants to do more than just take advantage of your beauty. They want to nurture it.
It's good.
And they want to make sure that it keeps growing. So I love y'all.
No, thank you so much. So, thank you. Because I know that there's someone out there that needs to hear exactly what she said, the way that she said it. And I pray that you are willing to accept that God will get you through this season, because I know that he will. or at least get you to a place where you understand that he will. So I hate to say sound cliche and say trust the process, but where you are now is not a punishment. It may be a pruning season. And listen, the pruning season is always tough, okay?
Oh, but it's so good.
I know on the other, like the bloom, you know? And so thank you so much for joining us. I know you have to get out of here. We're gonna do a part 2.
We got to do a part 2 now.
This is so good.
Now,
okay.
I might have different hair, y'all, praise God, but we got to do a part 2.
Me too. But no, so I appreciate you for joining us today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. And thank you for joining us for another amazing episode of the Real Love Talk podcast. Tell the people how they can get in touch.
On Instagram, that is probably my most used platform of social media. I mean, you know, I have Facebook too, but that's like for my cousins, y'all. But on Instagram, please follow me, connect with me at Adrianna_Denise. That's Denise with an A, not an E. So ADRIANNA_DANISE.
I mean, I love the story. I'm glad I just got to witness it. So thank you so much for joining us. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next Friday. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. That was so good. Oh, girl.
Them questions. Yeah.
I'm kind of good for this, Tim.
You getting, girl, you good. That girl is good. I was like, oh, that's a good.
I was like, oh, that's a good one.
Like, that's a good question. Where did she get this from? Oh, God. Who she been talking to?
That's him.
That is God. God is so
I've
good.
been like praying, like, okay, give me some strategy in this thing.